Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Knockout Zone, brought to you by Fight Hype. I'm your host, Johnny Boy, and we have a special guest with us today.
So I'm Richard Torrez Jr. I'm a Olympic silver medalist and professional boxer now, 13-0 with 11 knockouts.
That's it, bro. So let's get right into it. Thank you for joining us, man.
It's a pleasure.
What are your future plans, going in the heavyweight division? What do you think about Usyk and the Dubois fight? What were your thoughts on that fight?
That was a good fight. I think Usyk just showed like what a smaller heavyweight can do. I think they're both kind of relatively smaller for the heavyweight division, but just to have like a championship fight of that caliber with guys that aren't necessarily the biggest of the biggest, I think it really shows that that the smaller guys aren't necessarily like the weaker guys all the time. People always want to say that, oh, you have to be 7 foot tall now to be the Olympic or to be the heavyweight champion, and it's not the case. We have our different assets and styles to make fights, and I'm really excited to see and kind of root for the little guy.
Definitely. Where does Dubois go from here after taking that loss? He had dropped Usyk in the previous fight with a body shot. I'm surprised that he didn't do more work to the body. Where can he bounce back from this? It was a pretty hard knockout.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things, especially with what's going on with Turkey, with His Excellency, is he's having everyone fight everyone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it doesn't really matter to him if they have a loss or not. It's just if he wants to see the fight happen, he'll make the fight happen. And I think that's really cool. So it's not really necessarily like if you have if you lose your O, you're gone in the weight class anymore. Now it's like we're gonna make the fight happen. I think it's kind of like going a little more towards like that UFC style.
Yes.
Like everyone fighting everyone. We just want to see the good fights happen, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. Do you think that Usyk is definitely the best of this era from the heavyweights?
Yeah, no, I would say so. I think he showed that he's fought everybody. You know what I mean? There hasn't been one guy that he hasn't beaten. And so until there really hasn't. So I'd have to say he's the best guy right now because he's shown time and time again that he's here to stay. And it's really cool to, again, I just can't emphasize enough that this guy that comes out, he's not the trash talker. He's not the guy that wants to like cause harm or anything like that. He's someone that wants to come out, do his job, and go home. And I really love that mentality, that mindset. It reminds me in some ways of like Mike Tyson. I know Mike Tyson could talk. He was a great talker, but Mike Tyson was in the ring. After he got a knockout, he didn't celebrate, do anything. He just walked back to the corner because it was business. And I love that. I love that style of boxing.
You love that type of fighter, right?
The environment. That mentality, man.
And when can we see you getting into that top contender status and moving up the ladder? What are your plans for this year and next year?
No, I'm hoping soon. I think we have potential to be there soon. I'm top 10 in the world in I think 3 of the 4 or 5 major sanctioning bodies. And so we're moving up there. I consider myself contender now, definitely. And just being able to break that next barrier into the hall of that kind of rotation. Yeah. I do think we'll be within the next year or so.
Definitely, we'll start seeing you. But switching gears, Manny Pacquiao had just fought last week. What did you think about his performance at 46 years old? Should he continue fighting? What should be his next plan? What were your thoughts?
I'm telling you now, I had to tell him. So Tim Bradley, I told him that he's gonna make his comeback. So Tim Bradley's
I just interviewed Tim Bradley.
I know exactly. He tells me he's not gonna make it, but I'm looking forward to seeing you in the ring soon.
Definitely, Tim.
Yeah, but I thought, it's spectacular to me that he still has some of that pop and just that Pacquiao ability. You kind of think he's gonna lose it after a while, but to go in the ring and show no, it was not as active as it usually is. Yeah. But he's still Manny Pacquiao, and it's baffling to see that. I don't know. I think Barrios kind of respected him a little too much. Just a tad, but I do think Pacquiao went out there and did his thing. Was it a draw? Yeah, I saw. I could see a draw, but Manny Pacquiao was one of my favorite fighters all the time. So anytime I get to see him in the ring, it's a good time for me.
Yeah, it was definitely a privilege. Yeah. Where should he go from here? Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney are gonna fight. Those are the young guns.
Yeah.
Barrios is probably the slower of the 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking about a Gervonta Tank Davis fight or the Floyd fight. Do you think Floyd and him mix it up again, or what do you think happens?
Man, I don't know. That's a crazy fight. They can do whatever they want to do. They're like the legends of boxing. So anything that he touches is going to turn to gold for me. And I'd watch it for Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. But as far as like the go-getters and like the world champs right now, I couldn't tell you where he should go. I couldn't tell you, because he's so good and like of a person and everything that like I want to see with the best from and do the best from.
Yeah.
But also you have these young guys like Tank Davis and the Normans and all these people. I don't want to see Pacquiao get in there with them too much. You know, I want to see Pacquiao more so like just embrace his who he is and what he was able to accomplish during his career, you know. And I think that's what I want to see. It's almost like when you see I want to remember him for his prime, you know. I want to remember him for who he was and what he did in those divisions at that weight at that time period, because he was a GOAT, he was a legend. And I like having him come back here. I don't necessarily know if I want to remember him for that, you know.
Definitely.
And so
like the Tyson performance, like
yeah, exactly. You know, I don't want it to be like that. So whatever he does, I'm support. But I really like what Pacquiao has accomplished, and I think it might be best to stay at that.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And then finally, big super fight in September, Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. How do you see that fight playing out? Bud moving up 2 weight classes. You know, Canelo's last fight with Skull, and Madrimov and Terrence Crawford, his last performance, that was over almost a year ago.
Yeah.
So without getting a tune-up, at least, you know, Canelo was in the ring, Cinco de Mayo weekend, and he was there, at least, getting touched up. What do you think about that fight?
So I'm a Canelo fan through and through. You know, he's one of my favorite fighters. But I know Terrence Crawford personally, and I'm a little biased for Crawford, so I am leaning towards Crawford. Crawford has some of the best defense I've ever seen, and I think he styles his defense to the fighter too. You know, like what he did with Spence and some of these other guys. It's impressive.
Switch hitting,
you know, the switch hitting, being able to do so many different. He has so many different assets and abilities that I'm leaning towards Crawford, but I'm leaning towards Crawford in the long game. I don't necessarily. I think Canelo will always have that one shot killer shot, you know, and so he has to watch out for it, especially at a bigger weight where Canelo, he's filled in that weight, you know. He was able to really like move up and take on and personify that weight. I think that Crawford has to be able to do that himself, but if anyone can do it, Crawford can do it. You know, Crawford's one of the pound for pound guys, and I'm just excited to see that fight from you, to be honest with you.
Definitely. Well, champ, we appreciate you joining us here at the Knockout Zone. It's Johnny Boy, Richard Torrez. When can we see you again, and let the fans know where they can find you on social media?
If you guys know when I'm fighting, tell me, because I'm not sure yet either. But you know, I'm still in gym training and we're working hard. So whenever that date does come, we're there. You know, hopefully things are coming soon. You can follow me on Instagram at @TheRichardTorrez, THE Richard Torrez. That's where I'm most prevalent, and we post boxing stuff. So yeah,
that's it, man. Champ, follow him. So catch you next one.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much.
100%, man.